Hey, you all, happy Monday. Thank you for the time to hop on tonight. Okay, so a few like housekeeping things, just a few reminders. So if you have a new brand ambassador this year, so like they joined as a VIP, even if they joined like a year ago, but they upgraded to a brand ambassador, because they signed someone under them, they can actually register for convention for $75. It's like such a good deal. So just making sure you like letting all your people know who are maybe interested in the business. So many of the jewels have gone to their first convention was when they had like one person under them or two people under them. And that's where they really caught like the vision for this. Their belief was built. Convention's a big deal. You need to be at convention. I promise you, you will not regret it. But like my new girl, who's my new business builder, she got an email that was like, you can register for convention for $75, which is basically, it's like half off because once the early bird, I think anyone, so if you're not like a new person, you can register for like 100, I think it's like 119, which is the early bird special, but that ends this month as well. So starting in April, it's going to be full price. Unless you're a brand new person, you can get that $75 discount, but full price is $150. So help your newbies get registered, or at least to look out for that email because they probably don't even know, and encourage them to do it with you. Like you can bunk together, grab a hotel room and say, hey, I have a room, I have 3 spots. This is what the price is going to be. Come with me. It's going to be so much fun. That's what I have been doing. I got an Airbnb and I've just been opening up spots to my level 1 business builders and encouraging them to go for it. And so it's going to be super fun. And then the second thing, inflammation challenge reminder, we still have the rest of March to promote that. What I do is my goal for each day is to post it in my stories every day. Like I'm posting out the inflammation challenge. I'm posting like before and afters, along with other things throughout my day. Like I'm not just posting plexus, 60 to 70% life outside of plexus, and then 30-40% plexus. But posting in your stories is a great way to promote it. Posting on your timeline, but just sharing the inflammation challenge, reaching out to inactives, they can get in on it. It's just a really, really fun tool to use for following up, helping people get restarted. If someone hasn't ordered in 6 months or more, they can actually recreate a new account. You can have your closest jewel upline clear out their account. It's super simple. You just message your closest jewel upline, say, hey, I need this person cleared, so they can re-sign up. Excuse me. And they can re-sign up with the discount and get the free active and all of that. And so that's if someone hasn't ordered in 6 months or more. So those are great to, the inflammation challenge is great to let them know about. Last day to order is March 31st for that. And then corporate has a surprise coming, you guys. And I can't say what it is, but it's going to be super fun. It's going to be this month. So my advice to you is just to be in like lots of action, like posting, reaching out, following up, because that will really help set you up for more success when you learn about what this surprise is, to really utilize it and like, you know, get the best out of it. And then lastly, we do have power hours scheduled. If you're not familiar with what a power hour is, it's where we all hop on a Zoom. Someone is leading it this week. Katie Ciccarelli is leading one, and then I'm leading one. There's going to be one on Thursday and there's going to be one on Friday. Times to be announced. I'll post that in the team page by tonight, so you all can know like exact time. But a power hour is where we all hop on Zoom, and then it's just like 30 minutes, usually 30 minutes to an hour of like specific tasks that we do to work our businesses together. And I always found a lot of value in these when I was building up to Jewel, because even now I still do. But a lot of times people have ideas that we haven't even thought of doing, or like a certain way of doing something. We're like, oh, I haven't tried that. And then it's just really fun to see how we can like implement different things in our business. So those are really helpful. It'll be Thursday and Friday of this week. And also it's going to be Thursday and Friday of next week. So we're gonna have some fun powers, and mostly it will be focused around like the inflammation challenge, and utilizing that for that. And that's it. Okay, let's get into our topic for tonight. I would love anyone who has a question to ask, because this is kind of the reason why we're doing this topic. It's kind of like a follow-up Zoom to last week's Zoom. If you were on it, or maybe you watched the recording of three-way chats, like the flow of it and duplication of like helping your person sign up people. This is kind of a follow-up to that, of like just an opportunity for you to ask any questions. Maybe you've started to implement what you've learned, and maybe you've run into something where you have a question about it. And then I'm also going to give you some tips, kind of some things that I have learned and how I navigate through conversations that don't always go like cookie cutter perfect. Because it's, you know, it's easy to say, okay, this is exactly how you do it. Boom, 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 boom. They sign up. But we know that's not always what happens. Sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. And just, this is hopefully going to help you to know, like, when things happen to where they don't respond like exactly how like the flow says, maybe it will help you. And this is my biggest tip, is what we're going to be like focused around tonight, is you always revert back to the convo flow of the next step, whatever that is. And so that really helps me to stay on track. For instance, I have someone, I'm gonna pull up the message. I'm not gonna screen share, but I'm just gonna pull up messages to read off of it. But I have someone who actually just signed up today. It's a perfect example, actually, so I could share this. She is someone I reached out to 3 different times, brand new reach outs. She never responded. And then all of a sudden today, let's see, I'm gonna scroll back. So I reached out to her for the first time, February 17th, 2022. So what was that? Like a little over a year ago. No response. I followed up with her a couple days later to that reach out. No response. She had a birthday. I wished her happy birthday. And then I followed up again in July of 2022. No response. And that was as far as we got. And then today she messaged me, and this is what she said. She said, "What is the cost of the drink you share?" That's all she said. And sometimes that can be a little like, okay, like, what do I say? Because I want to give her, like, we've not talked about her health goals. We haven't talked about information, like nothing. But she's asking the cost. And so this is what I did. I said, hey, Pink Drink is $78 for a month supply, or you get extra discounts when you get a personalized health combo. And then I reverted back to the combo flow, which first step is to send the chart and find out their health goals. And so what I said is, what has you curious to try this? Anything on this chart? So that was my first message back to her. So I answered her question because I didn't want her to think I'm just like, you know, like don't care about what she's asking, but then reverted back to the combo flow of asking her health goals and sent her the gut health chart. And then her next message was, I want to order some, please. And that's it. No health goals. I was like, okay. So then I said, okay, excited for you to try it. What are you hoping it helps with? So I just reverted back to that. Cause I'm like, I cannot help this person. I have learned from my mistakes of help. I've been like, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. She's just going to order. And so then we help her order. And then I haven't really gotten to all of her health issues, and I can't best support her. And then those people tend to not be consistent. They fall off. They're hard to follow up with and help with customer care. So it's worth it to dig in and like follow the convo flow, I promise. So then I said, okay, yeah, I'm excited for you. What are you hoping it helps with? And then she responded literally everything on that list. Like, and then she did like a laughing emoji. Bless her heart. She's struggling. And so then I just kept going through the convo flow. So the next step is like, relating to them or like empathizing with them. Like, oh girl, I'm so sorry. Like, I know from experience, it's so miserable struggling with health issues. I was just reading some stories along those lines I want to share with you. One sec, let me grab them. Went and got some stories, sent them. And then she was like, all of these sound like me. And then so it was kind of how the conversation started. She was just like, what about your pink drink kind of thing. And so then after she saw the stories, I was like, okay, you know, you're going to love this. I'm so excited for you. And kind of went back to the pink drink because I knew that's what she was like thinking of. And I said, our pink drink is our cornerstone product, but most of these stories involve our gut health combo, which pink drink is a part of. Would you like to see a product break? Then I like reverted again, like right back to the combo flow. Would you like to see a product breakdown of the products that I would recommend for you based on your health goals? And then she said, yes. And then I recommended her products exactly how we do in the combo flow. And then she signed up like right away. Got her product, like got her combo. She was going to get the ease. And then she was she got confused with whatever. And anyway, she got gut health combo, the triplex. And she's going to get ease next time. Anyway, so I hope that's helpful to know, like, I just reverted back, even like me, like I've talked to so many people. And when she messaged me just about pink drink, I was like, oh my goodness, like, what do I do? And I was like, okay, combo flow, what's the next step? And you just go through that. And like at all possible, you revert back to that and try to bring the conversation back to the next step. And then I have some other examples for you all. This was a personal one. I wanted to kind of do both. I wanted to share like personal examples, like one-on-one, and then also three-way chats, because I use the same combo flow for like one-on-one conversations and three-way chats. I would just tweak it a teeny bit, and you can go back and watch the video from last week if you want to, that shows like the screen shares and all that. But I just tweak it a teeny bit in three-way chats as far as like how I'm talking to them, because I don't like, we're not personal friends. It's someone I've connected with because of my level 1 connecting me with them. But other than that, it's like exactly the same exact flow. It's the 4 steps of like, you're sending the triplex video and asking them their health goals and the chart, the gut health chart. And then you're going to send them stories, and then you're going to ask them if they want a product breakdown. So you just like go through or ask if they relate, and then they say yes. And then say, okay, do you want to see the products that they took? And they say yes. And then you recommend the products. Like you go through those steps before recommending. In my experience, people sign up so fast. After they see the price, what if they've seen stories? If they haven't seen stories before that they can relate to, then it's like they ghost you, or it takes them a while to respond, or then they're like, I mean, like, that's a lot of money. The stories are where it's at. Like, that is the number one thing. If I could, like, number one tip is make sure they get stories that they can relate to. Okay, so then this one, let me pull it up really quick. And as soon as I go through these examples, I'll answer any questions anyone has. Okay, so this person was in a 3-way chat. My level 1 connected me. We started off the combo flow like usual. She told us her health goals after we asked. And then before I could respond, she was like, next question would be price. What product should I use? I'm not wanting to spend a lot of money. I want to see results. Kind of like that kind of message before I could like go through the next step. And so she asked for price before I could send the testimonials. And so, but I didn't go right to price. Like I still was like, here's stories you can relate, can you relate to any of these? And sent her the stories first, asked if she could relate to them. I think that's an important thing too, is asking, like, can you relate to these? Because a lot of times I've gotten even more information from people. They're like, oh my goodness, yeah, XYZ of things they didn't even originally tell me that they were struggling with because they read them in the stories. So I always like to ask, can you relate to these? It seems like super simple. And sometimes it seems like almost redundant because they obviously almost, yeah, they can relate because they told you that they're struggling with these things. Why are you asking if they can relate when you kind of already are pretty sure they can relate since you're giving them these stories for that reason? But I don't know. I think that question is really important because it's so you're not like, just like, what's the word vomit or term or whatever. You're not just like dumping all this information. You are having like an interactive conversation. You're giving them time to like look over some information, asking a question, giving them time to look over information, asking a question. And so I think that is really what helps. And people, I feel like they feel more seen and cared for that way, rather than just like all this information and like, okay, you ready to try this? And so that was another example of how I kind of like shifted it back to the combo flow. And then I have another example of someone. I mean, it's very similar. I mean, it's just like sometimes when I'm in a 3-way chat and I'm talking with them, like I've asked them, what are your health goals? And then they say, okay, it's XYZ. And before like I can respond, maybe I haven't, maybe I'm doing things with my kids. I'm not on my phone 24/7. By the time I get back to the 3-way chat, maybe they've said something like, well, in this case she did, but she asked like price again before I could send testimonials, and had like a few other questions. So before like responding to all of her questions, because I'm in the backyard trying to distract me, before I could respond to all of her questions, I made sure to send her the testimonial. So I was just like reverting back into the steps. And so for instance, like she said, I literally have all on the list besides thyroid. I watched the video. It sounds like something I would like to try. I, of course, need more info. How long do you take? I think she meant how long do I take it? How much money? Does it affect any prescriptions I'm on? Can you buy it online? And so she had like 4 questions in a row. And so then I was like, oh goodness, so sorry you're struggling with all those. So not fun at all. Let me share a few stories with you along those lines. And like just went right back to stories because I know that their buy-in is going to be they're going to be so much more likely to be willing to invest in themselves if they see other people struggling with those same things. And then I think I have one more example. Trying to remember why I did this example. Let's see. Oh, this is why. Okay. So I have been coaching a few level ones on like sharing about the inflammation challenge and like depuff challenge, depuff and energize or whatever, helping them make some posts. And they've had people interested. And when they're interested, they add me through a chat. And so because they're interested specifically in the inflammation challenge, I've tailored it a teeny bit to that because that's why they're interested. So I don't want to kind of like go into like pretend like we're not talking about inflammation and depuff challenge when that's why they're interested. And so the only thing I changed up, and I put it in the chat the other day, but I can reshare it in our team chat. Like I said, the same thing, like she added me and she said, hey, so-and-so's interested in the Energize and Depuff challenge. And so I said, hey, Melissa, so excited for you to learn all the ways this can help you feel awesome. Here's a quick video that shares in a nutshell what this is. So it was the exact same verbiage. It's just that I did the other video. I did the video that talks about the slim, the active, and the ease. It's just a super help. I love how she breaks it down and she has like the cutest accent. And so I really like that video. And so that's what I send instead of the triplex video. And then I go right into the combo flow, like what has you curious to try this, anything on this chart. I still use the gut health chart. I know we're talking about inflammation, but it's like, I don't want, I'm just going to use the same chart. So I used the same chart. And then she was like, I literally have like everything on this list besides the thyroid. And I watched the video. It sounds like something I would like to try. Oh wait, no, that's someone else. Wait, hang on. What'd she say? Oh, she said, all of the above has me interested. You know, even if it could give me some energy, it would be worth it. How much would it be? And so then I responded energy was one of the reasons why I started, because I would wake up exhausted. And so that was very relatable to her. And so I was just like, oh my goodness, that was me. Like I would wake up exhausted. Like, I'm so excited for you to see how this helps you. Let me go grab some stories that you can relate to along those lines. And then I shared the stories with her. So it's a very, very similar, almost identical to the normal combo flow. I just used that inflammation video rather than the triplex video to start it off. And she's signing up on Thursday when she gets paid. And so it worked really, really well doing that. And I let her know also, like, the challenge, like you're going to join it's in a Facebook group. You're going to Venmo the $5 and that makes you eligible to win the fun prizes. I shared like the giveaway chart with her so she could see the fun giveaways we have. So that's the only difference that I did in like the combo flow. So if you have people that are interested in the inflammation challenge, that might be helpful to know, like you can still say the same things, just maybe change the video. And in a lot of instances, people, based on it, like this girl on her health goals, like she needs probio5 and BioCleanse too, because that's like the gut health aspect. So I told her, like when I did her product recommendation, we're doing the inflammation combo, but I also like added in like extra on top of it. So and it's just same flow. Like you recommend like the basic combo, whatever you're recommending. And then you say based on your budget, like these are some great add-ons based on your health goals, you kind of break it down for them. And so I do the same thing. And so she's going to get like triplex combo. She's going to get the ease, the active. So anyway, and let's see. I do it works for you. I'm trying to see if I had anything left in my notes. I think that's about it. Does anyone have any questions about any of that? Maybe you've had some things going on this week with career chats and you're like, okay, I'm not quite sure how to go about this. I don't know. Any questions at all about any of that?
I'll go. So I have 2. Oh, okay. I'll go because I'm not sure. I don't see.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So the first one is when you're doing the convo flow and you send the first one with the triplex video and then the can you relate to, curious what has you interested, and then the chart. I've been able to use this a few times this week, and I feel like I never like how long after you send the first one with the triplex video do you send the other? Because I feel like I've done it a couple of different ways and I'm just not really sure. Like, do you send it really shortly after, or do you give it some time before you send the next one?
The chart.
Yeah. So like if you sent the first message that includes the triplex video and then send the message of, curious what has you wanting to try this, what do you have on this chart? Like how long of a gap do you leave between the first and that?
I do it right away. So I do it at the same time, but I just have it broken up into like,
yes. Okay.
Yeah. And then I find that works the best because that gives them something to go off of, like a visual of like, oh, I'm struggling with XYZ. And so, yeah, right away.
Okay. And then the second question, and you kind of answered it a little bit at the end, but I've had a few people reach out about like off of, the sharing about the inflammation challenge in my stories. But then when I send them the other video, which I also loved. And then send them the chart. Like, I feel like they really need triplex, but their budget can't necessarily afford the extra ease. And in this case, at least they're getting the active. And so it's just the ease. I feel like I'm in a weird spot. I don't know if you have any like verbiage of, they really do need this, but then they're not like, if they can't get the ease, then they're not for the inflammation challenge. So I don't know. I think I just haven't figured out quite how to,
I think I would, what would I do? I would because they totally can join the inflammation challenge if they're getting triplex. Like, I'm totally fine with that. They want to pay the $5, but the ease is like a big why you see like those before and after pictures. Right. And so I would probably just let them know, or even just say, hey, like you totally could go with the inflammation combo. So like the pink drink, the active, and the ease. And then after the challenge and your next order goes out, we could update it and you could add in the gut health ones. Okay. What do you think? That way they can like get the inflammation ones. And most people do tend to see a little bit of quicker results anyway, if they're doing that. As far as most people care more about like looks, pounds, inches than they always do about like feeling good. And so, that's what I would do. Does that make sense? like
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was having trouble as well with like the chart, like what chart to send. And so have done it two ways. I have sent that chart sometimes, but then I feel like, oh, then they're not gonna, like, I don't know. I just feel like it didn't work. So I think you're the one who shared, one of the story slides. I don't know if it was you or Katie a while ago, but, it was like, it was inflammation. You shared it in your stories like recently. I think so, yeah. I've sent that one a couple of times and I feel like I'm getting like, it hits on most of those where it's more, but also more tailored for inflammation. So I don't know, people might like that. I've found it to work. So it might be. I love that
you said that because I forgot to mention that too, that like, you totally can, like, you don't have to follow things like cookie cutter. You can totally tweak it. Like Ashley tweaked it. She did the different graphic and like, it works for her. And that's what I did with this whole convo flow. Like I got the idea from Emily Gibson, who's the diamond. And then I tweaked it to fit me. And then I tweaked it even more. Like I kind of been tweaking it in the past couple months until I feel like I really just love it so much. It works awesome. But then maybe like you'll take it and you'll be like, okay, I love this, but like, I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. Like you totally can. Like you don't have to feel like you have to do it exactly the same way. This is just like a helpful guide of like how I do it, what works for me, but like how Emily Gibson does it and what works awesome for her wasn't necessarily exactly what I needed. So anyway, I love that you said that, Ashley. Okay. Any other questions? I feel like someone was going to ask a question for Ashley. So whoever that was, feel free to go for it.
That was me.
Okay.
A question: when you send the stories, are you screenshotting or are you copying? Like, how are you doing that? What's the most efficient way, especially a long one? How do you do that?
I do it to where, so I go to the stories page, I find a testimonial that I want, and I try to get as much words in the first screenshot as possible, screenshot it, crop it to where it's just the wording. I don't want it to look messy. I want it to be easy for them to just like pull up and like read. And so I crop it if there's like the stories and supplements up at the top or something, whatever, I'll crop it. So it's just the words. And then sometimes you can get the whole testimonial in just one, and then I'll save the picture. If it's like a before and after, it's like save it to my phone. And then I send them them so they're side by side. Or sometimes it takes like 2 or 3 screenshots to get all the words. If it's a super long one, I try to get ones. If they're like a book, then it's like, that's really long. That's hard. That's hard for me to read sometimes. So like, I don't want it to be like massively long. So I'm mostly tend to stay to where it's only 3 slides to where I'm sending them for each story. It's 2 to 3. So if sometimes how the words fall, I'll just screenshot the picture right into it too with it. Because I guess what I'm trying to say, I try to get in as little as possible of screenshots. So that I can like send them like in an organized way. But it works really well. I mean, even like I'll send, mostly they're all like 2 or 3 for each story, and it's been working great. Does that answer your question? And I found that I use a lot of the same stories because there's just, I mean, so many stories that have like so many of the things on my gut health chart. And I have found ones, like one of my favorite ones is the one, it's like, and they're all before and afters mostly because I just, oh, wow. Awesome, buddy. Go make it for daddy. I don't know, it grabs their attention. Most people want weight loss anyway. If they don't, I mean, they're not all before and afters. They don't have to be. I'm not saying that, but I have found a few testimonials that I really love more, and especially if they fit. I send a lot of the same ones. And so what I'm going to actually do, I haven't done this yet, but I think about it every time I send one in a 3-way chat. I'm going to make a folders in my phone for just these stories. And then I can easily find and do it in order so that I can easily like send them to people. And I think it will be more organized than like scrolling through to like past screenshots, because I knew I screenshot it from like 3 days ago and now I need it today. And so instead of going to the stories page, I'm going to scroll until I find it. So I think it'll be more effective to save it in an album on my phone, especially the ones that I use like over and over. Any other questions? I'm gonna check out the chat really quick. Yay, Vonda, that's so awesome. And Vonda, if you haven't seen, were you on here last week? Did you see the video with, oh, you did. Okay, awesome. You got this. You're gonna do great. If you need any help, let me know. Vonda is getting so close to your ranking goals. You got this. What's I gonna say? Oh, I'm going to take a picture really quick of the screen so I can remember who all was on, because I'm going to do a drawing for that fun giveaway that I said. Who is iPhone? Can you tell me who you are so I can put you in the drawing?
It's me. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Can you hear me?
Yes. Who's me?
Leanne.
Leanne. Okay. Yay. Awesome.
Hi, I'm in a baseball game. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
want
you're
y'all to hear
fine. No
anything.
worries. I just want to make sure that I knew who it was for the drawing, because I'll go draw after this call and put the winner in the chat of the Diamond
Okay.
Mountain. So,
Thank
all right.
you.
Any last questions before we wrap up? I mean, even if it could be about, messages as a whole. It doesn't have to be specifically about like 3-way chats or the combo flow. But if you have a question that you need help with. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on, you all. I have this recorded, so I will upload that soon. Have a great night, and you got this. Bye.